So, due to some various issues, I had to take the last season of anime off. But now I'm back despite the lack of demand, not giving any reason for me to do this, and various other things. And now with the new season of anime to talk about, I'm here to recommend a few that have piqued my interest. So let's not mess around with this preamble bit and get into some of my picks for this season of anime. So, Persona 5 was my favorite game of last year, 2017. And ever since they announced that it would have an anime adaptation, I've been honestly looking forward to it. Similar to Persona 4, but unlike the Persona 3 animes, this is a full blown series, not just a series of movies. And of course, it's an adaptation of the video game plot, so it's a pretty good story overall. If you're a fan of Persona, I do recommend this. Although this is a one picture, so expect a few shortcuts here and there. But I really do look forward to seeing this into its full fruition, as well as seeing the inevitable dub of this, although I admit trying to buy all the DVDs because A1 Pictures and Aniplex will make it a pain in my ass to collect. Either way, I look forward to adding this to my full collection of Persona stuff. Hina Matsuri is a really interesting comedy anime. Then, it's another case where I'm very familiar with the original source material manga. The plot follows a young upshot Yakuza named Nita, who accidentally has a mysterious object fall onto his head randomly and meets a young slash girl named Hina. The plot follows the pair as they live out their various lives, with the various craziness about Hina being a psychic girl, as well as Nita's Yakuza business. As well as the fact that they seem to affect people around them with even crazier reactions, such as a middle school girl that eventually ends up as a bartender, which leads her into becoming a CEO. Not a spoiler for a joke, but how she got to those points are generally hilarious. Again, this is a pretty funny series and kind of touching at times as Nita and Hina grow a closer parent-child relationship. So this is a pretty interesting one to watch, especially due to the comedic sight gags, as well as Hina basically being deadpan throughout most of the whole series. So here's another interesting one. I've been seeing this one around a lot recently, mainly because Viz has been really pushing this for some time, and now that the anime is out, I can understand why. This is honestly a pretty good story. Golden Kamui follows a former soldier nicknamed Immortal Sugimori as he hunts down some gold in Hokkaido. However, this is no ordinary treasure hunt, as the clues are tattooed to a number of escaped criminals, as well as other people, including the criminals themselves, some former soldiers, and some random bystanders are all hunting down this treasure as well, and a lot of them are vicious murderers. The series has a lot of great action scenes, and Sugimori himself really is an interesting protagonist with his dedication to survival and his quest for money, which makes him a very relatable protagonist, as well as some of the antagonists being pretty interesting. As well as, again, this being a series about survival when you get right down to it. Sugimori's quest for the money is the main plot, but what's going on is him surviving the quest for the gold, as well as surviving the harsh Hokkaido winter, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, if you're interested in some fun action scenes despite some animation shortcuts here and there with some CGI bears, I recommend this one. There's something you notice when you watch a crap ton of anime. You realize an odd pattern where rather decent to mediocre JRPGs end up getting some pretty good to decent anime. And here with Caligula is yet another example. In a nightmare scenario, a virtual idol draws in people to a virtual world where they live an ideal school life. However, one day she goes nuts and traps them in the virtual world, turning a lot of them into monsters, while the others who can resist her powers try to fight their way out to return to the real world. So basically, think SAO, but without all the shitty harem aspects, as well as Jesus Kun main character. So, yeah, pretty simple when you get down to it, but an interesting series nonetheless. Shame the game is pretty simple, though. So, between Devilman Crybaby earlier this year, and now Gigan no Kitaro, it seems that 2018 is the perfect year for the revivals of a lot of old manga series. Anyway, Ginga no Kitaro follows Kitaro, a half yokai boy who deals with the various issues that pop up between the yokai world and the human world. Of course, with all these old series and then the new modern day stuff, it does a lot of things when they update the setting to be more modern day, and has a lot of the culture clash be Kitaro and the various other yokai adjusting to the modern day world, as well as, things that happen because of this. But in this case, Kitaro and the others still have their previous memories from their past adventures, As well as there's a lot of social commentary, such as in the first episode dealing with a lot of social media self-grandizing. And it honestly got around pretty famously about the very first scene in the very first episode. Honestly, if you're a fan of seeing some hot yokai on yokai action, and I don't mean a sexual way, I mean in action, and you want to see it outside of Yokai Watch, this is a really great recommendation, especially if you have an interest in yokai like I do myself. Man, I never thought I would see the day where I would recommend anything with SAO in its title. But here we go with Gunga Online. Having almost nothing to do with the original SAO outside of being set in the same world and universe, and focusing on the GGO game, obviously. The plot follows Karin, and forget my pronunciation here, Korimaki. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. As she enters the world of GGO, seeking a way to escape her worries and live how she always wanted to, as a cute anime girl. I'm not even kidding. The plot hasn't really revealed much of itself yet, but it's already better than SAO is. With the more relatable premise, I mean, how many people have escaped into MMOs or other video games just to live how they want to in the real world? I mean, would like to in the real world. As well as focusing on, a more relatable main character, a more relatable premise, as well as being the most likable bit of SAO since the first half of Season 1. So, yeah, yet again, another recommendation. So I missed out on last season, but here are a few continuous series that I would like to recommend really quickly. Darling in the Franxx is one of my favorite anime of last season, and it feels that with the current season of anime, every episode seems to be getting better and better. Of course, this triggers, patented storytelling method right now that does the first half of the season is just world building character stuff, with the second half of their series being more the actual plot. See Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia for examples, and this seems to be following the same example, as the later half of this series seems to be focusing more on the overall plot of the story, while the first half was more about the characters and the world building and all that stuff. Another series I recommend is Grand Crest Senki. Grand Crest is okay. It's a pretty good setup, and it has a lot of pretty good action scenes, and if you're into some fantasy action, this one comes recommended as well. But again, Darling in the Franxx is still pretty great. Now let's get into the anime that are returning for another season or two. Anyway, My Hero Academia Season 3. Hero Academia Season 3 is here, and oh boy, my estimations about where the plot, at least where the next stopping point of the series should be, from having read the manga, as well as some clues in the intro, this is by far going to be one of the best seasons yet. And Season 2 was great. I mean, did anyone else see the stage fight? And it's like, oh yes, all of this. Anyway, this season's going to be even better. Dear God, I love this series. Steins Gate Zero. Steins Gate is one of my favorite anime, and by far one of the best time travel stories that I've ever seen. So here we come with an honestly interesting premise, an integral going on to an untold story that's been so far about our depressed Okabe who helped make the clear route for past Okabe to make the better future. This is basically the story about how that Okabe eventually came to the realization that would help the other Okabe, because this is a time travel story, and this is an integral time travel story. It's very confusing when I try to explain it, but if you just watch the series, it's pretty good. Anyway, this is good. It's more Steins Gate with more of these characters that I love and enjoy. Moving on, we have Tokyo Ghoul Re. Can we all agree on one thing really quickly? Route A was a pretty bad adaptation and pretty bad story overall. I mean, it had its good moments that were pretty much just the same good moments from the original manga, but they made one really dumb change that ruined the overall story. I won't go into what that change is, because if you've read the manga and seen Route A, you know what change I'm talking about, and it's really stupid. But anyway, here comes Tokyo Ghoul Re to save the franchise. And I am really happy to see here, having read the Re manga, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this, and hopefully they don't do another Route A on us and make one dumb change that ruins everything. And finally, we have High School DxD Hero. High School DxD is a great series if you love action and fan service. And with the new animation studio behind it, the series is revived yet again. So yeah, if you like boobs and battles, check this one out. I really don't want to explain this, as I kind of feel like I want to talk more later about this series. This is Again, one of my personal favorites. So there you go, a bunch of anime recommendations for the spring season of 2018. And, well, yeah, get out there, watch some cool anime, and have some well-deserved fun watching said cool anime. There were a lot more that I could have got into but didn't really get into. I really do want to have seen Dragon Pilot, but I have yet, as of not, watched it because it's a Netflix series, and, well, gotta wait on that shit. But that one also comes with a recommendation only for the premise alone and being a Bone series. Either way, lots of great anime to watch this season, and I hope to see you all next time as we continue, and I hopefully try to get back my regular upload schedule. Good night, everybody.